John 15:15, he calls me friend. 1 Thessalonians 1:4, he calls me chosen. Ephesians 2:10, he calls me his masterpiece. He calls me his art. He calls me handmade.
Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, welcome to Listening for Christ, where you experience the journey of Christ in the midst of it all. As he also says in Ecclesiastes 3:11, he has made everything beautiful in his time. He has also set eternity into the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from the beginning to the end. As well, in John 13:7, Jesus replied, "You do not realize what I am doing now, but later you will understand." I am your host, Kelsey Gomez, and this is KG Testimonies.
Verse of the day, James 1-4. Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything.
God knew you way before he created you. He set it and appointed you. As he says in Jeremiah 29:11, for he has a plan to prosper you, not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future. And then the devil knows that, so he's going to go after you at a very young age to stop you from doing what the Lord has called us to do. Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart and I appointed you as prophet to the nations. What I'm about to tell you is my life journey from the beginning of not knowing the greatness of Christ being with me. As a child, you have a mentality of fun, rainbows, glitters, imagination, but I found myself in a constant battle with the enemy. The devil is here to steal, kill, and destroy. He came into my life at a young age to stop the destiny that the Lord has placed upon my life. Now let me take you on the journey of my testimony. I am the youngest of my siblings. I have one brother and I have one sister, and they're older than me. I was born in Edinburgh, Texas in the year 1999. My dad is the one who planted the seed of Christ in me. From what I remember, my dad would take me and my sister to go wait for this white van, it was a church van, to pick me and my sister up so that we can go to church. And there was a bunch of kids in there, and we would watch TV and learn about Christ, but it wasn't a daily thing. It wasn't every Sunday. I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't experience being a pastor's kid. I had no form of family members that were pastors. My dad was the only one who knew about Jesus, who read the Bible, who would come into our room to show us how to get on our knees and pray to the Lord. And I remember there's one specific prayer that he had us remember, and it goes like this: now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And he taught us that prayer. My dad was far from perfect. He struggled with his own battles, and it was in his mind. He suffered from schizophrenic, but he still had hope. He still had faith in Jesus, and he did everything he could to teach us the ways of the Lord. But lo and behold, there's the enemy always trying to come and take apart what the Lord has appointed you with, what the Lord has given you, what the Lord anointed you with. And the devil tried to go and take that gift away. I remember the story that my mom told me. When I was 2 years old, we had went to my tia's house for a birthday party. And I was in the front yard playing with her dog, and her dog had a curly tail. And I kept pulling the tail to make it go straight, and it kept curling up. The dog ended up getting irritated, picked me up by my neck, and started shaking me. As I was screaming, everybody runs to the front. And my dad realized what was going on, so he picked up a stick, hit the dog, and the dog dropped me. And my dad was about to get me, the dog picks me up again, and he starts shaking me. My dad gets a bucket, ends up hitting the dog again. The dog drops me, and the dog takes off. So my dad goes and picks me up, rushes me to the hospital, and the doctor said 1 more inch into her artery vein, she would have been dead. Just imagine if the music was just a little louder, and nobody heard my cry, nobody heard my scream. But by the grace of God, they did. Jesus is there through the littlest things. You just have to find him. But when I was 4 years old, I had my grandparents living next to us. And, my cousins were living with them, my brother was living with them. So the whole family was there. And I loved playing with my cousins. We would go fishing, we would go to the park, we would go to the movies, we would play around there at the house. During those times, I was a saved at a very young age. And I was manipulated to doing things that a child should not experience. I didn't tell anybody about this stuff that was occurring to me. And that's when the devil stole my voice. I couldn't speak up for myself. I feared a lot of things. I was traumatized. I was hurt by somebody that I was supposed to feel safe around. But I didn't. I didn't get to experience that safeness. I couldn't even tell my mom. I couldn't even tell my dad. There was a time where my sister and my cousin, who had passed away, walked in and saw what was happening to me. And I remember my sister saying, hey, what are you doing to my sister? She was young and she couldn't do anything herself either. And I remember him saying, you need to leave. You need to go over there. You can't tell nobody what's going on. This continued to happen multiple times. There wasn't a stop to it. With my dad, he had a feeling. If the Lord told him something was going on, something was wrong with that man, he knew it. And he told his mother about it. And my grandma, his mom, was basically saying, keep an eye out on her, keep an eye out on him. But as a child, God still gave me the peace, the joy. I was still playing with my friends, my cousin. I still had laughter. But inside I was traumatized. Nobody could touch me a certain way or I'll freak out. I was told not to speak of these things. My voice was being stomped to the ground by Satan. It was being suppressed. I felt like I was choking. I couldn't even speak of it. And that moment that I did, I was with a friend. And I remember we were outside for PE and we were sitting on the grass, and I remember telling her everything that was happening between me and that man. And she was in shock. Next thing you know, we go into class, and I had a counselor come into the room and ask for me. So I ended up stepping out of the room, going to the counselor's office, and there was DPS there. They wanted to know what was happening. So I told them. And as I told them, they went to investigate. And as they went to go investigate, my entire family turned on me. And I would be called names. You know, why would a child lie about something like that? And where would they get it from? But ever since then, my family hated me. They wanted nothing to do with me. When my dad found out, he was the only one out of everybody that was there who believed me. He looked at my sister and he told my sister to take care of me, to watch over me, to be there wherever I go. And so she did. The Lord put it in my heart to speak on my testimony because my voice was taken from the enemy. But now I'm taking it back. On here for Listening for Christ, you will hear all of my testimony and what God has done in my life, what He has got me out of, where I will boast about my weaknesses for His glory. Your past is not your downfall. Your past doesn't define who you are. Your past, your story, is a testimony that other people need to hear. They need to hear what Christ has done in your life. So don't be discouraged and take back what the enemy took from you. Take it back, because you are worth it. You are worthy. You are loved by a God who sent His only Son to die on the cross for you. Stay tuned for the next episode for Listening to Christ.